realized today how relevant Ugly Betty is always going to be.
Oh my God. That was like a major moment. Kevin, you're blowing my mind right now.
As if it was scripted in response to what's happening right now. And it was 19 years ago.
Wow. That is great. Okay, so you want to hear my story is...
Hello, this is Obsessed, the podcast. I'm Kevin Fallon, and I'm taking you through all the entertainment and TV, movies, pop culture news that we think is unmissable. And today I'm coming to you from Park City, Utah at the Sundance Film Festival, where for this brief recording, I will not be freezing my butt off. I've seen a ton of movies and we'll be talking about all of those in another episode. But right now we're going to talk about a few other things and try to be just the smallest ray of sunshine in what I know is a very dark time and dark cloud hanging over all of us. But we're going to get through this and just talk about the things that preoccupy our minds when we're not thinking about everything terrible and that it is all this pop culture nonsense. We have a great guest today. He's one of my favorite people in the world. It is Michael Urie from the show Shrinking. I fell in love with him almost 20 years ago on Ugly Betty. And I think that he's the perfect guest for today because he's on a show about feeling your feelings and how you rely on your community to get through a hard time. I think that's perfect. But before we get to that, we're going to bring on my favorite person besides Michael Urie, my producer, Rachel Passer. And we're just going to talk about all the celebrity goings on that have happened while I've been freezing up here in Park City. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Kevin. How's it going?
Like everyone, just trying to get through. How are you?
I'm also trying to get through. Sick. There's a snowpocalypse in New York, but here we are. I'm glad that we're able to do this remotely.
I know the irony that I've been in the mountains in Park City where it has not been snowing at all, and all of my friends in New York are completely buried and housebound.
Did you see that Shaun White was in Central Park yesterday, enjoying the snowpocalypse, and he was snowboarding?
I love that. My other favorite video that I've seen is I believe it was Philadelphia, where someone was in a buggy just doing whippets in front of the museum just because the streets were empty, and
Yep.
it was just this sort of epic way of celebrating during this doldrums of a snowstorm.
Totally. Well, I have some teacher friends. And you know what's crazy is I don't think any of them are getting snow days. They all have to do it remotely. These
Oh,
kids are set up to not have any snow days. That sucks.
I feel so bad. Those were the best days of the year. It was Christmas happened again when you get a snow day. I remember waking up early in the morning and turning on the local news and watching that little ticker on the bottom of the screen, just
Yes, yes.
waiting for my county schools to be closed, and we would cheer and put on our
Yeah.
snow gear and just immediately run outside.
Were you flushing the ice down the toilet to do a little snow dance?
I never did that.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
new one.
Maybe that was just a me thing. Maybe it was just my household. But yeah, we definitely did all of that. But yeah, I'm glad I'm able to join you today. Can't wait to have you back in New York if you're able to make it back to New York. But yeah, a lot of stuff has been happening obviously over the weekend. I was curious, you being in Sundance, did you see the arm link that's rocking the world right now?
Wait. I'm trying to imagine who that could be. Who is this?
Donna Kelsey and Andrea Swift were in
Oh,
Sundance and they locked arms, they linked arms, and people are just going crazy over it. So,
well, I guess we run in different circles because I did not cross paths with the mothers of Hollywood royalty.
can you imagine if you just were in the same circle?
I can't. Although it is, what is really cool about Sundance is that you go to these screenings and you're just sitting there next to the celebrities who are, also in town to either watch the movies or they're promoting their own. You're walking down Main Street to go have lunch, and you're walking past Dave Franco or Natasha Lyonne and all these other people that are here. It's really fun because there's a lack of, not that there's a lack of barrier because they're still being surrounded by their swarm of 800 agents and publicists and assistants and all of that. But it is kind of just crazy to be walking down the street, and last year I just saw a glimpse of J-Lo. It's insane.
What?
So to me, J-Lo is more exciting than seeing Donna Kelsey.
Well, so I was curious. I know that you've been super busy with Sundance over the weekend, but I was wondering if you saw the Olympic torch in Italy.
Listen, there's no Sundance screening, no snowstorm, no apocalypse that would keep me from getting all the latest heated rivalry news. So of course, my newsfeed, my social feeds were flooded with photos of Connor Story and Hudson Williams being the torchbearers from the Milan Olympics.
Yeah, how crazy is that they're leading the entire Olympics? I mean, heated rivalry, torch lighting, like, I mean, it's genius marketing. But I mean, to have these two like gay icons serving face and lighting a torch for the Olympics is amazing, I think. It's iconic.
It is iconic, and it just shows how both the world is ready to meet this moment, and these two stars are ready to meet this moment. I think there's a version of celebrities who are, on this rocket ship, launched to this stratosphere of fame that they're at right now, where they sort of want to, pump the brakes a little bit and slow things down and not be too overwhelmed. And they've really sort of just taken every opportunity and run with it, because they know what it means to be representing the show about, gay athletes and what that means to people, and the fact that it's gotten so mainstream and had so much attention, how that's changing sort of the way we think about the gay community, think about sports, and I think it's had an impact that almost rivals what Will and Grace had. Gosh, that must have been like 25, 30 years ago, in terms of sort of elevating the gay experience and normalizing it, and making it romantic. And the fact that they're on not just the world stage, but like the Olympic world stage now as torchbearers is so cool. And the photos are just adorable. You can see like how excited they are to see each other when they're like holding, their torches, and they touch the tips, which, ha ha ha, they touch the tips of the
Ah,
torches. But it's all very heartwarming to me.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, it's just so beautiful how many people that they've inspired to actually come out. I mean, I think it's incredible. And this is just the beginning, I have a feeling. I'm planning on dressing up as one of them for Halloween, and my girlfriend's going to dress up as the other. So
Love that. If I believed in Halloween, I would probably be doing the same.
you don't believe in Halloween?
I'm like, what Scrooge is to Christmas, I am to Halloween. It's just
Shut up.
not
You're
my holiday.
gay.
Is that listen? You can't be every stereotype.
Hey, that's fair.
No, I was a kid who at age 9 was staying home handing out candy instead of trick or treating. That's how much I hated Halloween.
Are you serious? I was a vampire for, I think, 7 years in a row.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I, for some reason, decided to not be on the Twilight bandwagon, and I decided to switch it up and be a pickle. So, but I think this is going to be the Halloween costume this year.
I support it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the last little thing of like pop culture I was wondering if you missed was slash, I kind of want you to bring me up to speed on everything that has to do with like the Beckham family,
Oh
Victoria
God.
Beckham. I'm so far behind that I fear I can't catch up, unfortunately. So maybe you can give me just like a really quick synopsis of what the hell's going on.
Oh yes, I am here to help you. And trust me, I have not missed this. I have been obsessing over every detail about this, because it is the wildest celebrity story. It's a kind of like celebrity gossip, pulling back the curtain to all the tawdry things that happen to famous people that we used to get in like the 80s and 90s. That was like so delicious. And we would all just follow it in our, our trashy, voracious way. And things have been so gate kept over the last like decade when it comes to celebrities. So the fact that Brooklyn Beckham has just completely laid it all out there, just put all the dirty laundry on the lawn, has been just so much. Not, I don't use the word fun, because it is family drama, and I do feel bad for them, but it has been sort of thrilling to watch. So like basically what happened is that there's been rumors of Victoria Beckham and David Beckham having a falling out with their son Brooklyn over the last few years, and people have speculated that it has to do with something that happened at their 2024 wedding. Brooklyn Beckham married an heir named Nicola Peltz. And we now, thanks to a scathing screed that Brooklyn put on Instagram, know pretty much exactly what the root of this is. He says basically that Victoria and David were a nightmare leading up to their wedding. They were so mean to him and Nicola, saying things like she will never be part of our family, trying to get him to like give up the rights to his name because they were afraid that like this will tarnish the brand. And apparently like the brand is all that the Beckhams care about. And that all led up to this, what is now infamous wedding dance between Posh Spice and her son Brooklyn, where he alleges that she did something so humiliating and inappropriate that his wife ran out of the ceremony crying, and that he now, 2 years later, is still not speaking to her. And my thing's like, what dance? What in the world did this woman do that was so embarrassing and atrocious that not only is your son so mad at you that he's not speaking to you, but he's going to tell the entire world about it? It's blown my mind. It's been all I've been thinking about.
So what do you think it is? What could she have possibly done, or do we not know?
Well, we were starting to get more details down, but what was really fun before we sort of got to know more information, people were speculating, like, was she twerking? Was she
Right.
doing one of her like really embarrassing wooden Spice Girls dances? Because we know she was not the best Spice Girls dancer. But like,
Right, of
what was she
course.
like grinding on him? Like, what in the world was she doing? It turns out that one of the singers booked for the night was Mark Anthony. And this is where there's been like a little bit of cross wires and different reports. Some have said that Mark Anthony was doing the first song, which is traditionally the bride and groom's first dance. And instead, he brought up Victoria, and she stole the thunder of Nicola. And that was part of all the thing. But what I'm starting to read now is that that's not actually true. Mark is just one of several performers who was brought in for the night. And he performed like late in the night, like around 11 p.m. And that's when he brought up Victoria with this introduction of, and now I want to bring up the most beautiful woman in the world. And everyone at a wedding would assume that you're talking about the bride. Instead, he brings up Posh Spice. And so Brooklyn and Nicola are already like a little bit peeved. And then Mark starts singing what is apparently like a Latin song. And the report is that Victoria started doing this like sensual, hip swiveling Latin dance with her son. And that was what was inappropriate. But these are all just reports. So I don't want to suggest that this is all exactly what happened. But it is, let's be honest, really fun to speculate about. And to sort of like imagine it all happening.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why there's like bridezillas. Like, there's so many different fun wedding shows because people go crazy. People like completely turn off their logic.
And my thing is like, to be gracious to Posh Spice, I think maybe she was just having fun and thought that it was silly and funny. And I guess the joke didn't land with her son and his wife.
If there's one time to not be trying out a new joke, it's at a wedding.
Well, like celebrities just take things so seriously. And I think this is like a perfect example of that. And in fact, it's been taken so seriously that, this is a serious thing. It has caused a huge rift in what used to be very close, very like aspirational family because of the fact that they were so rich and so famous and so successful, but still, at least to the public portrayed this very like loving family, the most normal way possible bond. And this has totally, exploded all of that.
I mean, I've seen that movie. Is it Monster in Law? Speaking of J-Lo,
Mhm.
I'm just picturing Victoria being the monster in law and just being everything building up to the wedding, this being the last straw. And I think, okay, maybe I would allow it to like kind of divide the family a little bit. But at least you have the last name, honey. Well, this was so fun, Kevin. Thanks for having me on and like talking through everything that we might have missed over the weekend. I'm so jealous of you being at Sundance. I wish that was me.
Oh, of course. Well, I can't wait to get back to New York. It's been really fun, but really busy and really tiring here. But I'm so excited for the next 2 days of watching more movies and writing about them on my Substack. Yes, I have a Substack. Please subscribe to it, obsess.substack.com. You'll see all my thoughts there. And Rachel, I will see you later this week in New York. And right now, I'm so excited for us to talk to Michael Urie. We get into so many things, his history of being just one of the most groundbreaking out gay actors on television and in movies. He's had so many milestones. He was a part of this viral moment at the Emmys this past year that I got his, behind the scenes information about. We talk about shrinking and all the ways that it has moved people to feel at a time when we really need it, which, let's be honest, we really need it right now. But also don't forget how funny it is. It's a really funny show. And we talk about this crazy Victoria Beckham guest star moment in Ugly Betty that when he found out about the parallels, what's going on then and now, it blew his mind. So without further ado, here's Michael Urie.
Hello, Michael Urie.
Hello, Kevin Fallon.
How are you?
I'm great. So good to see you.
Me too. I feel like I should use your official title, which is now Critics' Choice Award-winning,
Oh,
Emmy-nominated actor and
Wow.
star of Shrinking, Michael Urie.
thank you. Thank you. I know they told you to say that. I know the people who come ahead of me and scream and insist on the green M&Ms all said you must refer to them as that, but it means a lot.
Yeah. So we haven't spoken to each other since you won, or since you were nominated for the Emmy, and I have to say that was one of my favorite TV moments of all time.
Oh my God, when Jeff won?
When Jeff Hiller won the Emmy.
Isn't that cool?
And so this is the first time ever that 4 out gay actors were nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy.
Right.
Jeff Hiller, who is an amazing veteran of comedy
Yes,
and
genius.
theater. He's just a genius.
Complete unicorn.
Won for Somebody Somewhere.
Yeah.
And all 4 of you immediately leapt up and had tears in your eyes, standing ovation for him. It was
Yeah.
such a beautiful moment.
It was, there's so few truly spontaneous moments on television, and award shows are one of the last things where you can actually surprise someone. And I had never been in a situation where I was going to be on, where they're going to have a camera on my face when they either announced me losing or winning. I've never had that
Well, either
experience.
way, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never, because I don't think they did that at the Critics' Choice. It didn't work and that, that was just my first time. So I was really worried about what my face might do.
Mm-hmm.
What's my face going to do? And I didn't expect to win, but I was I had people I was rooting for, if not
of
me.
course.
I love Jeff Hiller. I know Jeff Hiller. We've worked together. I love Coleman and Bowen. And of course, Harrison was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guys, really, I would have, it was just what's my face going to do? I don't know what my face will do when this happens. And I'm going to try. And of course, I've been watching award shows forever.
Of course, we are gay men. It is part of our Bible to
Yes.
study award shows, watch all the speeches.
Yes.
Spend until 2 o'clock in the morning on
Yeah.
YouTube watching old Best Actress speeches.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. We probably shouldn't even be saying this, but there are tests along the way when you're a gay man. You have to.
That's how you get the gay card.
That's
have
how
to
you get
pass
the
that
gay
test,
card.
yes.
It's all very, very important. But what a gift to not only be happy for who won, but for us all to have been happy, and
Yeah.
for that to be kind of the moment.
For them to have that split screen of all 4 of you at the same time was I get emotional every time I see that screenshot.
It's so cool. It's that we were all nominated was already a win to me. That he won was a win for all of us. But you think about when we were growing up, there might be people who win Emmys that are gay, but they were not out of the closet.
And they were not playing gay characters.
And they were not playing gay characters. And oftentimes the people playing the gay characters were not gay. And so it just was a very special thing for us all to be. Obviously Bowen's doing so much work on that show, but for us to be playing gay characters, being gay, and for our shows to be recognized, it was really cool. And Jeff and that show was so perfect.
I am so obsessed with that show.
It's so beautiful and
It's a little gem of this tear-jerking, but also inspirational.
so funny.
So raunchy.
And raunchy and the way the world should be, and I just loved it so much. So that it got that sort of, because it's over, it's done, that show's over, and they won't have they won't be at the Emmys next time, and that they got to sort of go off into the sunset with Jeff's Emmy was just amazing and perfect.
It's to what you were saying earlier, for me, just as a TV fan and someone who is so invested in good work being recognized, I remember when Ugly Betty was on and being on those Gold Derby award forums, being when are they going to nominate Michael Urie for this hilarious performance with Vanessa
gosh.
Williams? And to go from there then, where
Yeah.
you were being ignored, to now being a nominee with your co-star Harrison Ford.
No.
Have
Wild,
you heard
right?
of him? On Streaking? That's such a huge,
I know.
huge deal.
I know, his first nomination, my first nomination, and such a testament to the show that, because my part, in theory, should not be the one nominated. It's I'm truly a supporting character. I don't have my own story every episode. I don't always have a problem, but the writing is so strong and the ensemble is so tight, and every scene I get to do something dazzling. It's just I just am so we're all so lucky on this show because the writing is so good. And then every time, like if you could watch rehearsal, every time we get into rehearse, we make sure the script is taken care of, and everyone's always very prepared. And then the writers come in and are like, all right, now I think you could say something here, and you could add something here, and you could play around with this, and we'll do one where you do this, and then it becomes like a team practicing for a game. And then the cameras start rolling, and it's like we're just like passing the ball and trying to score, and it's really a really good job and a really cool, happy, chill place to be.
That's great to hear because obviously Shrinking season 3 is coming out.
Yeah.
This is a show on Apple TV where it starts with this man who's sort of going through a really hard time.
Yeah.
His wife was
bottom.
just killed
Yeah.
by a drunk driver, and we see how his community, his friends, his therapist, played by Harrison Ford, his neighbors all rally around him to sort of bring him back to life at the worst moment of his life.
Yeah.
And it came out, and I just felt like there was something about the timing of this where, I mean, I watch every episode, and I'm like weeping on my couch. But there was something about this show where people show up for each other that felt like something that we really needed at the time that this came out. And it continues in this season, by the way.
I'm so glad you think so. Yeah, well, it was like one of those like post-pandemic talk about your feelings shows that really I think tapped into something, especially with, and I hope it's okay to talk about this, straight men.
That's a banned word on this podcast. Straight, but no.
To watch Harrison Ford, our hero, every straight boy's hero, I mean, my hero too. To watch Jason Segel, everyone's bro.
Yeah.
Ted McGinley, from Married with Children,
yeah.
Happy Days, The Love Boat. Like to watch these guys talk about their feelings, I think was a real permission slip to a bunch of people out there, a bunch of straight dudes out there that maybe were afraid to talk about their feelings or didn't really feel like someone was doing them. There's no shortage of straight men on TV, but straight men that are really in touch with their feelings and vulnerable and willing to admit when they're wrong, I think it's a really special, and maybe it's a little bit, maybe the show, obviously we have like incredible writers, so we have the benefit of saying exactly the right thing and going through the right, we have that wonderful, but I always think of it like it's kind of an aspirational show. For me personally, I'm so proud that it's completely free of homophobia.
To have a straight man and a gay man be best friends on a TV show, that's the first time I've seen that. And that's a real relationship that happens. I have great friends in my life who are straight men, but in pop culture, we never acknowledge like that's a dynamic that exists, which is crazy to me.
Right. We had a storyline that I was so proud of in season 2 where he and I were in a fight about, he was keeping something from me, and I was very upset that he had not told me, and I thought I was like, I went through this whole existential thing. Well, my character often makes everything about himself, but
In a very funny and relatable way.
Yeah, yes. But he was like, if we met today, would you even be friends with me? When we met, I was straight, and it's this really interesting thing that gay men of a certain age who become friends with their straight best friends when they were straight before they came out of the closet. That is an interesting dynamic because you aren't your whole self when you're in the closet. You are a different person. That's not who you really are, and sometimes it makes you sort of. I think it can make you volatile and angry and ugly, and you're not able to really be at peace until you're out of the closet. So it's a really valid question. Like, if we became friends now, if we met today, would we even be friends? Because I'm not the person that you became friends with
when we met.
Yeah. So like that's certainly a problem and a storyline that is specific to a gay character, but it isn't coming out. It isn't homophobia. It isn't. It's not even shame. It's just like this is where our lives changed, and did our friendship evolve with it? I think that's just like so interesting.
And it's so interesting to play, like you mentioned, like everyone's favorite bro, Jason Segel, to have him be the foil to that journey.
Yeah.
It's like a really interesting thing for people to watch.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's and I'm really proud of like the way in which this basically straight show it has taken care of this gay character.
Yeah. And your character, Brian, in this season, he's having a baby.
Yeah.
Last season, we saw him struggling with the decision to get married.
Being a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
This season, we get to watch him go through the process of having a surrogate, and I just watched the hilarious birth episode. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Great episode. Zach Braff directed that episode.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, from Scrubs, right? Mm-hmm. That's the Bill Lawrence connection. Bill Lawrence created Shrinking and also created Scrubs.
He also created Zach Braff. Well,
Exactly.
that was Zach's big break, and I think that was when he started directing, was on Scrubs. I could be wrong about that, but he's a great director. He's such a solid director, and always has a great idea, and always fun to have around. And I got to do some really fun stuff that episode with Ted McGinley, and just some great farce stuff, and that was the beginning. You really start to see Brian leaning on all of the other characters. What I love about playing a character that changes over the course of seasons is we get to watch them grow and evolve. And he is doing things now that he never would have done in season one. In season one, he never would have asked for any help. You know, when we first met him, he knew everything.
Yeah.
His mantra was "everything goes my way," and he just sort of navigated his life thinking he had it all figured out. And that began to chip away in season one. But now in season three, he knows he needs help. And he knows it takes a village to raise a child. And I love that. I love watching him embrace the people around him, his chosen family around him in helping to raise this kid.
And like you were saying earlier about we're seeing a character like Brian who is going through things that real gay men go through as they get older, but these are not things that we typically see on television.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember the last time I saw a person that I very much identified with struggling with the idea of should I get married, should I settle down, and then how do I go about having a baby? Like these are things that like just as a viewer are making me think about my life.
Yeah.
What is it like for you to go through those milestones as the actor?
Same. I mean, same. Because Brian and I are the same age, and when we were growing up, same-sex marriage wasn't legal, and very few gay people had children. And so you weren't thinking about that. That wasn't part of vision boards because it wasn't part of the possibilities, the same way it was for straight people. And so he and I feel the same way. Like I don't have these dreams of having a wedding. That's not something I think about.
There's nothing that I thought was a possibility when I was younger.
Right, exactly. I dream of going to award shows because that's what I put.
That's
on
our training.
Yeah, my training ground. And being in Broadway theaters. Like those are the things that I grew up wanting to do, and yes, family, and yes, friends, but then Brian ends up in love with Charlie, played by Devin Kawaoka, my husband on the show, and he wants those things. And so Brian has to evolve and find that for himself, and he ends up loving it. He ends up loving being a husband and loving being a father, but it is a big change for him, and I think very relatable, especially to people of my age.
Yeah. And there's another storyline this season that really got me feeling emotional, which is Jason's character has to say goodbye to his daughter who's going to college.
Yeah.
And it had me remembering like what it was like when I had to say goodbye to my parents and my college experience. And my college experience is very boring. Like I went to New York City like every gay man does.
That's boring. That's not boring at all. That's thrilling.
But it wasn't like dramatic. But you actually have a very interesting college experience. You went to Juilliard, which is the dream for everyone who wants to be an artist. You went to Juilliard. You were there with Jessica Chastain and Luke McFarlane. Like,
Yes,
what do you remember about that time in your life?
I have no memories. Just kidding.
Great story.
I was 19 and moved to New York, and lived in the dorm, and I had never lived away from home. I went to a year of community college, but I stayed in my parents' house in Texas, but I was like a fish in water when I got to New York. It was the first time I visited New York was the summer after I graduated high school, and immediately when I got off the shuttle at the Port Authority, I was like, "This is my
Of the universe, Port Authority.
I mean, truly, like when you think about places in New York, that's our introduction. So many of us go to the Port Authority first, coming from the airport or whatever. And I was with a student group, a bunch of students from this community college I was about to go to, and we took a shuttle from the airport to Port Authority, and we got out and we walked up 8th Avenue to our hotel, and I was like, and it was summer, hot, stinky, and I was like, this.
Perfect time to be in New York.
So by the time I got there a year later for Juilliard, I was so ready. And my parents, I have a sister who's 7 years older, and that was a really challenging goodbye, sending my sister, even though she only went to college like 45 minutes away. There was something I was going into. I remember when my sister was going into college, I was going into middle school, and it was very hard for me to imagine her not being around. And it was really hard for my parents because it was their first child. So by the time I was going to school, I think we were all a little more prepared. We had that extra year because I went to community college. But my parents drove me up. We drove from Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's insane.
And they dropped me off. And by the time it was time for goodbye, I was like, okay, go. I was like, bye. Okay, good. We did it. Goodbye. But before we left, we had a nice few days in New York. My mom and I went to see Bernadette Peters and Annie Get Your Gun.
Oh my gosh.
My dad went to a Yankees game with a cousin, and it was very special. And I think, and they got to see where I was going to be living, which is right next to Juilliard. It was like the dorms right next to Juilliard. So it was very special. But like, sorry, your question was, what do I remember from my time at Juilliard?
Did it feel like I think
yeah.
it's easy for us to look back and be like, oh, Michael Urie, Jessica Chastain, Luke McFarlane, like what a all-star like class. Did it feel that way at the moment?
Well, Jessica, yes. I mean, there were people there that were so brilliant, and like right away you're like, oh my God, that's a movie star. That person could be a movie star. But then there were other people who were like, I don't know if that person's going to be in movies or even on TV, but they are brilliant. They could do anything, and I cannot take my eyes off of them. It's also a challenging place. They break you. Like if you have an accent, if you sound like you're from Texas,
they get that out of you.
They get that. They strip that away from you. So I didn't have like a really strong.
So you're bearing your twang right now.
Oh yeah, it's way in there. We needed a lot more than water to get that out. But
with some Texas whiskey in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so they sort of break you down and build you back up. And so there's times at Juilliard when you are not good. You are giving bad performances and you are showing real vulnerability, and not like not like acting wise. I mean like craft wise and your skill, and it can be really challenging. But oh yeah, I mean Jessica played my wife in a play. We played siblings once. She played my mother.
Oh my gosh.
Just
everything.
Yeah, I mean, we did everything. I played her illicit lover in a play. We did all kinds of things together, and it was true for everybody. I mean, we all like got to, and I haven't worked with her professionally. I would love to.
As either her son, her lover.
As her son or her lover.
Brother.
But I did get to work with Luke on Single All the Way.
Oh yes, yeah.
The Christmas movie for Netflix, and it had been a while since we've all stayed in. I mean, not everybody. There's some people we've lost touch with, but like I keep tabs on a lot of them, and I've stayed in touch with Luke. But it had been a while since I'd seen him when we did that movie together. I was so excited because I'd never done a Christmas movie. He's done a million, and
he's a Hallmark guy.
He's a total Hallmark guy, and what was really interesting is he was his character in Sing All the Way was brand new to me. I just met him in the movie. We see us meet, and it's this sort of, he's so hot, and I'm like sort of, and he's into me, and it's this like quick flirting thing. And then there's another character that's the person I've known for a long time. He's my best friend who ultimately, like, we fall in love. Spoiler.
For a movie from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's 4 years ago. But what was really fun is even though Fallon, who played my best friend turned boyfriend, and I didn't know each other, we got to sort of put all of the sweet, buzzy energy of getting to know one another into our friendship that was old and mature. And Luke and I got to put all of the like fun, buzzy history we had into pretending to get to know each other. And he said something that I thought was so astute. He's a very smart person, even though he's handsome.
We don't
And
know that.
I said, why do you love doing these Christmas movies so much, or these Hallmark movies so much? And he was like, it is so fun to flirt. And it's so true.
Be paid to flirt.
You get to be paid to flirt, and acting flirting is so fun. And they're such happy. It was such a happy set. We were all just so happy flirting, and even when there was conflict, it's just like a happy, fun. Plus, there's Christmas in every frame.
Yeah.
That was like one of the notes from the network or from Netflix was like Christmas in every frame. So there's Christmas everywhere. So it was really good. It was really fun to like get to, and even though we were doing a Christmas movie, we still had the same vocabulary, and that's a cool thing. Working with, I just did Richard II with a bunch of people from Juilliard.
Yes, last time I saw you, you were in your underwear on stage, Richard II.
Thanks for coming. There were a lot of Juilliard people on that, and of course, our training at Juilliard is far more like Richard II than Single All the Way. But it's great, no matter what you're doing, to work with other people from Juilliard, just because it's like frame of reference, and you kind of all went to the same boot camp.
And I'm glad that you brought up Single All the Way because it was historic. It was Netflix's first gay holiday rom-com.
Yeah, first gay rom-com.
First gay rom-com.
Yeah.
Period.
And last. No, I'm sure they've done
Also,
others.
you've had several of these milestones. You were in Partners on CBS, which was a sitcom
Wow.
featuring a gay couple.
Yes.
And it's wild to me to think like how watershed those projects were when I think about what's going on right now with a show like Heated Rivalry.
Yeah.
Where everyone, it's just like the mainstream blockbuster hit. Those two guys are the hottest celebrities in the business right now.
crazy.
It's just so accepted and
Yeah.
fine. It's so nice to think of like we've made this progress. How do
know.
you feel at being like, because you were a part of these things that paved the way to that? How does it make you feel to see this sort of happening?
Well, I'm so proud of when I think about, like, last week I was in LA and I did Viva Betty, which is Mark Indelicato and Ana Ortiz's podcast, Rewatching Ugly Betty. And Mark Indelicato is 31 now.
There's no way he's 31.
Yeah, he's like 30 or
That child
31
from
years
Ugly
old.
Betty,
That
oh my
child
gosh.
from Ugly Betty is now a 31-year-old man with a mustache. and like spending, and I've gotten to see him a lot, especially lately because he's on Hacks and we run into each other at events and stuff like that. And to watch him be so good on Hacks and be such a good man. He was always good. He had great parents, and he always had a great head on his shoulders. And he was never one of those weird kids that you meet on a set that's like, oh, there's something, not quite a kid about you. He was always a kid. He was sort of meant to be in this business, even at 11 years old when I first met him. But I'm just so proud that, like, not only did Ugly Betty show a character like mine, but to show that guy, to show that character, and now to know all these years later, he's still great and he's still well adjusted. We see so many sad stories about child actors.
And like you said, like he's on Hacks. He's
killing
in
it.
the funniest show on TV.
Yes,
Besides
he's
Shrinking, of
thriving.
course.
Yeah, he's thriving, and so like, I'm really proud that not only did we do something really special with Ugly Betty and open a lot of doors for a lot of people, but we have the receipts. There's Mark Indelicato. He's a grown up and he's killing it. And I still to this day, almost every project I'm on, somebody at some point will say, Ugly Betty is the reason I got into fashion, if it's like a photo
That's the
shoot.
reason I'm working at a news publication.
It is?
Yeah, I was obsessed with that show when I was in college. It was my sophomore year is when it premiered, and I fell in love with the idea of celebrity journalism and magazines. Obviously, magazines don't really exist anymore.
Right. No, I guess not.
But yeah, watching you on that show was part of why I wanted to
God.
do this.
And New York, right?
of
like
course.
to see New York and be like, oh my gosh, I could live in New York and I could be this and I could do that. Very cool. But then, to see that like Heated Rivalry is just like the biggest. I mean, Heated Rivalry was all over my algorithm before I saw it.
Right.
Like I hadn't even yet seen
Just
it.
the screenshot of their butts in that shower was everywhere in my Twitter.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And my partner was watching it before I was, because I was like unable to watch it. And he was like, "Can I just tell you one thing about it?" And I was like, "No, babe, you can't. I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. I just, let me have my own experience. I don't want to have this like, and when I finally did watch it, I binged it. I watched it over like 2 nights, and it was beautiful. And it's a wild thing to imagine, like, we still have these spaces where it's dangerous to be gay and to come out. And I think what's great about this show is that it doesn't focus on the homophobia. It focuses on this like love and this real romance. And unfortunately, I mean, I think it's, I mean, I won't get into like all the things I think are brilliant about the show. But unfortunately, we still do have to see this side where, like I was saying before, we're seeing these characters not as their authentic selves, lashing out at people. But it's done so, I think it's so authentic.
Yeah.
That is, of course, I'm nothing like these guys. I don't play hockey. I don't, I mean, I look like that.
Suddenly I love hockey after watching the show. We'll say that.
But I definitely understand what it's like to be that distracted when you're with your parents, or that distracted when you're with your best girlfriend, that you lash out at them. That is that beautiful and relatable. And
In that cottage episode, the finale where they're just like,
oh my God, the
in
cottage,
love
yes,
at the cottage. It's so beautiful.
I know. It's very cool.
Yeah. I realized today how relevant Ugly Betty is always going to be, because someone sent me a meme of Victoria Beckham stealing Vanessa Williams' thunder at Vanessa Williams' wedding.
Oh my God.
Which is exactly what Victoria Beckham is being accused of by her son right now.
my God.
There's a scene where Victoria Beckham plays Vanessa Williams' friend,
I
and
know.
she
I
steals
remember.
all of her thunder
Oh my
at the
God.
wedding. It's so
Kevin.
that scene has come back because of this news.
I didn't even think. Of course, I remember. It was a huge deal when she did the show, because she was huge. I mean, obviously, those two are just like crazy famous, but that was like a major moment. Kevin, you're blowing my mind right now.
It is.
I did
like,
not remember that was the story.
as if it was scripted in response to what's happening right now. That's how like on the nose it is, and it was 19 years ago.
Wow, that is great. Okay, so you want to hear my story? Is they were awesome. They were really cool. David Beckham was there,
Oh my gosh.
hanging around, and so were all the children. 3 of them, right? Aren't there 3 children?
Sure.
And they were obsessed with me, because we had a whole, like, because Vanessa's kids were around a lot, and it was just a really and we had Mark, of course. So it was like a really playful set. And those kids, we played, rode around on bikes, golf carts. It was like, I remember them coming and it being like a fun party. And that's
Little did you
storyline.
know
They
what
were all,
happened
they were
20
all
years later.
They were all really cool, and like throwing a ball around, and wow,
Yeah.
that's you just blew my mind.
I'm happy to do it.
That's crazy.
And then finally, obviously, this is Obsessive Podcast. It's written everywhere. We talk about the TV shows and movies we're obsessed with. I'm very curious, like, what is right now, like, the unmissable TV show, movie, whatever you're watching? Like, what are you obsessed with right now?
I gotta say, and I'm a little biased because I'm a Shakespeare nerd, as you know, but Hamnet
Oh, yes.
is so good.
Just make sure you have, like, a Costco-sized box of tissues when you
Yeah.
watch this.
Well, and this is the thing, like, because I read the book, and the book is beautiful, but very sad.
Yeah.
And I was in a play that called Jane Eyre, that was about Shakespeare and his wife, in part. Anne Hathaway, or
Right.
Agnes.
The original Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, the original Anne, or Agnes, or Annis, or however, or Anus, however you say her name.
That's how they say it in the movie.
In our play was very silly, and we did make an anus joke. Talene Monahan, the great Talene Monahan, who is a dear friend, wrote this amazing play, Jane Eyre, about, basically it was about Shakespeare trying to write King Lear in quarantine. She wrote it during the pandemic, Because you remember during the pandemic,
It's like-
everyone was like, Shakespeare wrote King Lear during
like,
quarantine.
what are you doing
Yeah,
with your time?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are you doing sitting at home? So she wrote this hilarious play about him with writer's block, and in it, Anne Hathaway shows up, or Anus. I can't get it right. No, it's Anus or Anus or it's not Agnes.
Yeah.
There's no G, but
It's just
it's
hard with their Irish accents to.
it's beautiful the way they say it. Anyway, so I was familiar with this story and this play and this book, and the book is really really sad, and I was a little bit nervous to see the movie because I was like, I don't know because I don't know, I like how that's not really my thing, but it is sad, but it's so thrilling. I find that movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like
I mean, when she reaches out her hand,
that
like
third act is some of the most exciting stuff I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm biased because I'm in the theater and I love Shakespeare, but like the idea, because what you forget and what I forgot is that like the people of Shakespeare's time didn't have phones. Obviously nobody forgets that. Didn't have televisions, didn't have cinema, and only got to go to the theater on rare occasions. And in the case of Shakespeare's wife, I think she'd never been to the theater. I think what we see, I think we get to watch her first time going to the theater. And I don't want to say anything else because I think everyone should see it. I don't want to spoil anything because it really blew my mind. But I thought what they did, and shout out to the filmmakers and everybody. You know, when Jessie Buckley won the Golden Globe, she thanked the background actors. Did you catch that?
have you seen? There's a viral video
Yes.
of them dancing to Rihanna.
Yes, at the
So
rap.
good. Yeah,
Their rap. They're like
their last shot.
that's
yeah.
a rap. Yeah. Really cool. But like, it truly is like exquisite work by background actors. And I mean, and background actors are a total unsung hero of the business because they have to do a lot, and people just refer to them as extras, or like. And it's a big job. It's like it can be really challenging. It can be really unforgiving, and sometimes they can really make or break a scene.
Yeah.
And this last act of Hamnet is I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I dare say I'm obsessed, Kevin Fallon.
You got the cue. Well, Michael, thank you so much for chatting with me.
What are you obsessed with?
Um,
You have to probably come up with these every day, but
constantly. Hamnet, we just talked about today, so that's one of them.
Oh.
Heated rivalry.
yeah, sure.
Shrinking, obviously.
Yeah, it's obviously ringing.
I'm watching The Real Housewives of
Okay.
Salt Lake City.
Great.
Reunion. That's my big thing. That's my treat to myself. Like when I go home.
Yeah.
It's all about like reality TV and
Good.
and housewives and
Good.
like
Traders?
not
You like
the heavy
Trader-
things.
Traders?
Of course, I'm obsessed with the traders.
Can I tell you, tomorrow I'm literally leaving here and getting on a plane to go do Wheel of Fortune, as I may have mentioned, because I tell everybody that I meet.
That is the coolest thing I've
So
ever heard.
I've become pretty obsessed with Wheel of Fortune lately. On my phone, I play it on my phone. But it's definitely easier on my phone.
That it is in real life.
Yes, for sure. For sure it's easier. Partially because, well, I don't know all the rules yet. I'll find out tomorrow. But because I mean, I know how to play. Obviously, I've been watching it my whole life. But there's things that you don't know, that you can't know.
Do you have like your strategy for which consonants and vowel you're going to choose if you get into the final round?
Yes. I think an H is always useful.
Okay.
Because even if an H is, unless you can tell for sure where the H's are, and then you don't need it. But H's are really, really helpful. And I have a cousin who said C is always really helpful. I think Y can be really useful. A Y as a
There has
consonant.
to be like a chat GPT way of like gaming this. Like just asking AI, like, how do I win?
How do I win Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You have to win.
I would really like to win. I'm
Yeah.
playing for Broadway Cares, and I would really
So, no,
like
you
to
definitely
win
have to win.
the $1 million.
Yes.
I'm very excited. Anyway, so I guess I'm temporarily obsessed with Wheel of Fortune. Although I do always love Wheel of Fortune, but right now it's kind of all I can think about, and I see it when I close my eyes. I see the wheel.
Just like sleeping in your hands, spinning the wheel.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to watch you on that. Everyone needs to watch you in Shrinking because that show is
Thank
just
you.
so brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Like I said earlier, it's the show that I think people need right now to allow us all to feel our feelings and remind us that we have people in our corner who
Yeah.
will prop you up and help you out of the dark, hard times. So it's such a beautiful show.
And laugh. Like I think that's the secret sauce. Is like we laugh even in the really sad stuff. Like, it's still okay to like find levity and there's something like a common theme when we're making jokes about the dead character Tia, who dies before the show starts. Like, she would have loved this. She would have loved this joke. She would have loved that bit. She would have, like that. That is something I like to think. When I die, tragically, I want everyone to laugh at that. I want people. I want people to. I think it's, live your life. Live your life. Don't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting philosophical.
Well, all right. Thanks again. It's
My pleasure.
So nice talking with you.
Congrats on the podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michael Urie, for chatting with us. I love you. Good luck on Wheel of Fortune. And thank you all for listening. What did you think about our conversation? What do you love about shrinking? What are you watching to help you get through a hard time? Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at The Obsessed channel. Follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you want to hear more from me, subscribe to my Substack at obsessed.substack.com. Thank you to our producers, Devin Rogerino and Rachel Passer. Stay safe, stay strong, do what's right, and thank you.